very much for joining us here on Urban Debate at 8. I'm Heena Gambhir. Tonight, viewers, I have a question. Is India's tech capital Bengaluru becoming a civic shame? I ask this because civic apathy in Karnataka's capital has killed 4 people in last 40 days. Take a look at these visuals. On March 15, 27-year-old died after his two-wheeler met with an accident. He failed to notice a pothole because probably he was looking at the traffic. He lost control, fell on the road. He had gone to buy food for his mother and never returned back alive. Then, on 23rd of March, 52-year-old Shivraj and his daughter Chaitanya died due to a transformer blast. They had gone to book convention hall for Chaitanya's marriage. The family of Chaitanya and Shivraj were waiting for them to return so that they could begin the celebrations. The celebrations could never begin. Then yesterday, 25th of April, another innocent life was lost. A 22-year-old daily wager who was on his way back home after a long day of work was electrocuted to death on Sanjay Nagar main road area. Kishore was walking on the footpath when he came in contact with a live wire, which was an internet cable, and died on the spot. Kishore's relatives have now filed a complaint of negligence against the electricity supply company Bescom and the internet provider. The probe is underway to ascertain who was responsible for this incident. Bengaluru, we all know, is also called as the Silicon Valley of India because of its role as the nation's leading information technology exporter. But it seems there is no value of life in this city anymore. For Mirror Now, it is you first, and that's why it is our top story tonight. Today, we are talking about a 22-year-old, Kishore. Tomorrow, it can be any one of us. When will this stop? When will civic apathy in the state of Karnataka stop claiming lives of people? Will the government fix accountability instead of giving the standard response that it gives all the time? Probe is going to be ordered, audit is going to happen, and people will continue to die? We want to raise questions tonight. We want the government to fix accountability so that no more lives are lost due to somebody's negligence. Call us, share with us your views, what you think about what is happening in Bengaluru, Karnataka's capital. The numbers are flashing at the bottom of your screens. You can call us and share with us what you feel. You can also tell us what should the government do so that we do not lose any more precious life in the state of Karnataka or anywhere in the country. Because in Delhi also, which is the national capital, in just 2 days, 4 people have died because of civic apathy. Joining us on the broadcast this evening is Mohan Krishna, spokesperson of the BJP, Aishwarya Mahadev, spokesperson of the Congress Party, Priya Chetty Rajgopal, concerned citizen, live with us this evening, Rajkumar Dugar, founder and convener, Citizens for Citizens. Thank you very much, all of you, for joining us here on Urban Debate on Mirror Now this evening. We have with us Brinda Adige, very well-known activist from Karnataka, also on the broadcast. Good evening to all of you. I want to begin the discussion with you, Mr. Mohan Krishna. You know, you made some promises a couple of days back also on our show that civic apathy will not claim any more lives in the state of Karnataka. How will you respond to what has happened with a 22-year-old? What was his fault?
Good evening, Heena. Good evening to all the panelists also. Look, it's a very tragic issue which is happening in Bangalore, for that matter. As I told you on your show, in next 6 months, we are going to give a very good infrastructure to Bangalore, irrespective of potholes, roads, improvement of roads, okay? And nobody need to raise their eyebrows because Chief Minister of Karnataka himself has said in the tech summit yesterday, which he had with all the unicorns in Bangalore, that we are going to give the best infrastructure Just give us some time. We are working on that. I would like to take a 30 seconds on your show today to explain you. We have allocated 8,000 crores for Bangalore alone this year. And the budget GO is prepared. And from next month onwards, the work will start. I'm assuring you again and again. I said 6 months back. I will take only 5 months.
But people are losing lives, Mr. Mohan Krishna. We do not need your assurance.
It's very unfortunate.
We want the safety of people of Karnataka. We've been, getting these assurances for a very, very long time. The question is, how will things on the ground improve? You come here on the show, you make promises, you tell the viewers that you are going to give world-class infrastructure in the state of Karnataka, in the city of Bengaluru, but then people are losing lives. Civic apathy is claiming the lives of innocent people. What was this person's fault? You tell me.
I will come to that point to you. In the parliament only, Mr. Nitin Gadkari has explained this issue. Due to potholes, around 4,700 people have died in 2020 alone. Okay? See, this is the situation in India. It is not just alone Bangalore. No, Brunda Adige, you just go through the parliament में जो भी वो पेपर रखा है, उसका वो आप पढ़िए, उसके ऊपर आप बात कीजिए. Number one place is Delhi. Number one place is Delhi. And Bangalore comes 5th or 6th place for your kind information. Okay, Heena, we are going to improve. Don't.
What an argument, Aishwarya Mahadev. We are not at number 1. Delhi is at number 1. So we should not be really questioned.
Among the worst, we are bad, so it's okay.
Heena, it's extremely unfortunate that somebody would bring out this comparative saying 4,000 people are dying every year with potholes. So in Karnataka, if there are a few that are happening, it is absolutely all right. Absolutely not. This is shameful that a Bangalore city that prides itself on being the Silicon Valley, which has far greater education infrastructure and has flourished over decades, is now seeing people and the government justifying their incapability this way. And Heena, let me give you a timeline, right? When the poor girl and her father lost their lives because of the transformer and a pothole incident, right? The government then had taken 8 or 10 days to fix all potholes, after which the High Court hauled up Mr. Bommai. Mr. Bommai then gave himself another 15-day extension. 2.5 months later, I think from what I noticed, that the High Court now has pulled up the government again and the BBMP saying, what are you doing? The government's reasoning in response is that there's a 130 plus kilometer stretch of potholes that have to be filled. But there's a tender problem because the amount quoted is different from what the PWD quotes. And the company that has to fill the potholes wants a little bit of advance because everybody knows this government works on commission. So they think, let us at least have some money there so we can finish the job.
Heena, I think she's talking too much. I have to intervene.
Sir, you made comments about me raising my eyebrows. I didn't open my mouth. Just keep quiet until I finish and then you can say whatever you want. Heena, I will not interrupt him.
Okay, one at a time. One at a time. Mr. Mohan Krishna, one at a time. Please let her complete her point.
Chief Minister has met those people. What they are claiming today.
Sir, please give him his own time.
Mr. Mohan Krishna, please calm down. Let Aishwarya complete the point she is making.
The fact of the matter, the point remains, Heena, that this government is mired in these sort of logistical, the red tapeism where work is not getting done. There's a tender, there's somebody who's taken it. There's a 138 kilometer stretch of potholes that have to be filled. Even 4 days ago, the High Court literally had to yell at the government saying, what on earth are you doing? We're losing more lives. And the government is sitting here. Our man is giving us 6 months, 7 months. Absolutely not. That's not your duty. You can't sit and bargain with us how long you're going to take. If it's 15 days from the High Court, if your CM says 15 days, please, for the sake of everybody on the street so they don't lose their lives, do it within the prescribed time. Or what are you waiting for your cuts? Obviously, BBMP elections have not happened. You obviously cannot fill your coffers right now, which is why you're dragging your feet. And that is the reality of Bangalore and the BBMP and the BJP, to be honest, Heena.
Let me ask a simple question to Aishwarya Mahadevan.
I'll give time to Mr. Mohan Krishna to respond, but let me also take the opening comments from my other guests on the broadcast this evening. Brinda Adige, my question is very simple. Is there no value of life in the city of Bengaluru? 4 people, what did they do? They've lost their lives in 40 days. 3 families have been devastated. And what we are seeing today is, political parties not even ready to take the responsibility, and again making promises that, we are making world-class infrastructure, give us some more time. Is this what we expect from an IT city in the country?
Certainly not. But more than the IT city, looks like the elected representatives and the state agencies have no value for the lives of their paymasters, the citizens. Mr. Mohan is talking about parliamentary paper and report. I'm not bothered about it, sir. I am bothered about my life and the lives of citizens in this state and in this city. Before you say any of those, give any of those justifications, please tell me what has happened to all of those government officials, the government public servants who were booked when that father and that daughter died because of that transformer. What is the FIR that has been filed? Who is to be held accountable? Why haven't you passed an ordinance in the legislature to say that everybody, government officials, as well as the top brass, bureaucracy, and the politician minister in charge for these particular departments will be named in the FIR and action should be taken? This is not simply civil apathy. This is criminal negligence. A life has gone and heads must roll. Penalty must be paid. What is the compensation even given to that family? What is this lip service and knee-jerk reactions that you are having, saying, we pacified the family, we told them, because in the afternoon, the BESCOM officer said, we pacified. You pacify who for a life that has gone? Take accountability of your responsibility. You came there, we didn't call you. You came saying, I will do all of this. And that is why you have to be held accountable. And that is why you have to answer. You cannot give any justification about papers that were presented by Mr. Nitin or anybody. This is my state. I'm bothered about my country, my state, and my city. Please tell me who are the ones who are going to be
on March
charged
15th, when a 27-year-old died because of a pothole, probably nothing was done to, bring this fear among the babus there, among the concerned people in the authority. And maybe that's the reason why we are still seeing more and more people losing their lives. There's no fear at all because nobody fixes the accountability. People talk about, things like action will be taken, but then there's no follow-up. Audits are ordered. But what next? Nobody really bothers. And that's the reason why tonight we're having the show as well. Priya, I'll come to you in just a bit. Let me also, take two callers who are joining us on the broadcast this evening. We have two viewers of Mirror Now. One is Rajnikant with us from Hubli. Thank you very much for joining us here on Urban Debate on Mirror Now this evening. Rajnikant, what is it that you will like to say?
Good evening, madam. I would like to say that electrical inspectorate, there's a department called Electrical Inspectorate. And they are people who audit all the industries, whether transformers are okay, lines are okay. Why the public audit is not being taken? That is very important. Electrical Inspectorate department is there under the government, and they have to take the audit of all the public transformers placed in public. And the transformers which are placed, they are so handy. They can be touched even by walking on the footpaths. And that is such a wrong state. It is not actually allowed like that. In industry, they make audit, they give notices. Why not in public places where lives really matter? Industries, we as private industries, we always take care that nothing happens because it is our property. What about the public places?
Absolutely. Rajnikant, appreciate you calling us here on Mirror Now and sharing with us your concern. Anil Sood is joining us from the national capital. Anil Sood, good evening. Tell us, what is it that you will like to say?
Good evening, madam. Bangalore was a dream city. Now it is a dreaded city. The situation in all the metros, be it Mumbai, be it Chennai, be it Hyderabad, be it Delhi, except for Chandigarh, situation is the same. Unfortunately, none of the courts, none of the politicians, none of the governments, they hold bureaucrats accountable for this criminal neglect, consequent to which precious lives are lost. Even you take the case of various highways, they are also in equally sad state of affairs and unmanaged without any repair. When these authorities will wake up, who will wake them up? Do we expect some miracle to happen or any? When Mr. Gopinath Munde died in a road accident in Delhi, there was a sea change on roads. So do you think, or do our politicians want some senior bureaucrats to die in road accidents? Then only they will wake up. Over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Anil Sood. Appreciate you calling us here on Mirror Now and sharing with us your concern. Pertinent points you have made. And Priya, it is the people who today are concerned, because today it was a 22-year-old man, 22-year-old Kishore. It can be any one of us. The roads, the footpaths are also so unsafe. This is what this incident is showing us. Could you unmute yourself?
My apologies. No, I said this is probably about the fourth or fifth conversation about civic apathy in the last few months, and it is very sad that it continues and just absolutely, snowballs ahead into more and more issues. I'm scared about one thing. I'm very scared about getting into part of the problem rather than the solution. And I know this sounds a bit, sort of Pollyanna-ish, but I think unless we invest in the solution, we have too much at stake. We have lives at stake. In terms of just a couple of things that are happening and continuing to happen, what I don't see is anything in terms of preemptiveness. All I see is reactiveness. And I am grateful, perhaps, to public and media that constantly calls it out, constantly challenges it. But I'm sure that you as media also are feeling the sense of desperation, frustration, just as citizens are, in saying, but why is this continuously happening? Can we put it on to somebody else? Heads rolling is a good thing, but it just gives us a little bit of joy for that 1 minute. It doesn't do anything else. It needs to be fixed. The best of minds are in Bangalore. I'm being completely partisan when I say this, but we have some of the best minds, technology, civic, sitting right here. We need to be able to fix this. On the issue of electrocution, for example, what you're referring to, BESCOM has been a profitable enterprise from the last 3 years, 4 years. They are making something like, I think, some 100 million or something like that per year. These are organizations that have purpose. You have 2 or 3 things that need to be done desperately. You need the ward committee to be revived quickly because we don't have corporate elections, so there's no control at the ward level in terms of my own area. I need to be able to fix what goes on. The second thing is you need to have better coordination between the para-state agencies, because BBMP does something that BESCOM doesn't do, and there's a whole lot of confusion, and deaths happen because of that. Today, the potholes happen because the
Right.
water supply board does, and it goes on. The third thing, which is very important, is for the government to take when I say the government, I'm talking about the bureaucracy, to take a very strong and concerted view on what is it that needs to be done immediately. What happens is everybody waits till the judiciary comes in or till the chief minister comes in. And I think the sense of ennui and the sense of, hey, we're more intelligent than this is really getting us down as Bangaloreans. So these 3 things have to be fixed for sure. But I would be a little positive about one thing. And, I know that I won't be popular for doing so, but I'm still saying that there is a half here, which is the systems in place, which is the ward committees, the fact that there's a very responsive citizenry, the fact that you can escalate things through technology. There's a WhatsApp that you can send a message out to. Bureaucrats are forced to respond back if there's a tweet. These are things which have moved forward. So as citizens, if you look at what I was 10 years ago to what I am now, I'm more empowered. The question is, I may be able to create a small impact, but my question is, where does it leave that poor man who died because he just took 2 inches off and went into a pothole, or 2 inches off and touched a wire? At the same time, this heads rolling will not. Go ahead.
In fact, Mr. Mohan Krishna, I was just looking at some data since you were quoting data earlier, then I'll go across to Aishwarya Mahadev as well. You know, in last 5 years in Bengaluru, potholes have caused 13 deaths. 215 crore rupees were spent on repairing the roads which had potholes. What really happened? Because despite that also, we are losing lives. Did you hear what the people of this country had to say? We had 2 viewers and they say from a dream city, Bengaluru is now becoming a dreaded city. A city which has the best, as Priya also mentioned, best of minds, best of technology we get to see in Bengaluru.
Heena, I have mentioned you already in your last 2-3 shows about these issues. What has happened? It is very easy for Aishwarya Mahadev.
But that time you had promised us, you know.
No, I will tell you.
That time you also gave a promise to us that, you know, 6 months later, I remember it precisely, and Aishwarya was also there on the broadcast that evening when you promised to each one of us that things will improve. So in 6 months, we can expect people to die like this?
Come on, Heena. We are also human beings. We are also people living in Bangalore. Don't be so harsh on us. Don't be harsh on us. Don't be so much. No, what? Aishwarya Mahadevan is saying that they were ruling BBMP till a couple of years back. They were responsible for this. I will not go for the politics. I accept what Priya ji has said. There is a coordination difference. That is the one issue. The second thing I have told you already, the smart city work is going on in Bangalore now in a full-fledged. So that is why these, the footpaths and other things have been drenched or change of things are happening there. These are 2 issues. Coming to the point what Aishwarya Mahadevan was saying, that it is weird, everything I accept. Aishwarya ji, आपसे एक बात पूछता हूँ, कितने साल आप इस Bangalore को आपने, you have ruled Bangalore. You have ruled Bangalore for how many years? Karnataka. What did you do? People should not have asked you. We have come to power just first time in 2013.
But since last 2.5 years, Mr. Mohan Krishna, it is your government which is in power. Aishwarya wants to respond.
Hold your thoughts. Hold your thoughts. I have heard you enough.
You said that I should not be harsh on you. People have chosen you and not the Congress party.
That is why we are
People have chosen you. People have chosen BJP in the state of Karnataka. And today you are telling us that, we should not be harsh on you. We should not be asking the right questions. You want people to die like this without any fault of theirs?
You said 13 deaths in Bangalore. You tell me how many deaths have happened in Delhi. How many deaths has happened in Delhi? How many deaths has happened in Chennai? How many deaths has happened in Mumbai? Why you are only...
I'm shocked. I'm shocked. So these 4 lives clearly do not matter to you because for you, Mr. Mohan Krishna, these are just numbers probably. I'm sorry. Here we are talking about 4 precious lives.
Somebody was asking about
Aishwarya Mahadev wants to respond.
Audit. We have ordered for an audit for the first time. What the Congress has done, they have, yesterday, I will tell you one more thing. Yesterday,
Aishwarya Mahadev wants to respond.
There we have come to know that all the transformers which
okay, Mr. Mohan Krishna, you have made your point. You have made your point. So your basic argument tonight is, don't look at Bengaluru. Look at other cities where people are also dying. At least our number is much lesser. I am shocked.
Absolutely.
Aishwarya Mahadev.
Still we are better.
Mohan Krishna ಅವರೇ ನಾವು ಕನ್ನಡಿಗರೇ ಹಿಂದಿಲ್ ಮಾತಾಡೋ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ ಬಟ್ Heena, the singular fact remains that Mr. Mohan Krishna seems to be making this a race to the bottom, saying we're not right at the bottom, so it's completely all right and acceptable, and that is a shame. Now he'll go back into when was the transformer put in, and we need a little more time. The 3 promises that has come in from not only the Chief Minister, sir, I have never interrupted you when you speak. I really hope for the same courtesy here, and I want to add to what Priya and Brinda have also also spoken. The fact of the matter remains that right now, your ambition and aim should not be to compete with the boondocks of North India. Rather, we are the Silicon Valley. We have far better infrastructure. And to say how we can improve it to make the city far more livable for more people to come in and for more commerce and for Karnataka to flourish. Any responsible government would talk like that. One. Second, Miss Priya spoke about something very pertinent, saying don't completely ignore that there is infrastructure. I will admit, irrespective of which administration brought it in, from ward committees to coordination to even who is a liaison between the officers and whatnot, there is an infrastructure, but implementation and making that stronger and better between civic outreach and governmental agencies is extremely important. Now, for example, for every civic awareness or how alert the civic agencies are, to counteract that, there is governmental apathy, which is the massive problem. I may have that sort of angst and I may tweet against issues, but how often will a government agency reply to me is what matters. I've seen where a blue tick or let's say a verified account has far faster response rates than when a common man does it. Not only was this our response during COVID, this was also during disaster when the water even floods all across, even Coorg and whatnot. The governmental response system is also skewed and biased, and this is something that has to be changed. And I say this not as a representative of a political party, but somebody who's in the ecosystem. And lastly, I think Brenda, ma'am and I had this discussion the last time also. Yes, heads may roll as a temporary thing, but unless you have enough of a deterrent or a fear factor with every officer that everybody's neck is on the line when something goes wrong, there is never going to be enough of them taking proactive or preemptive action to prevent such actions, like such accidents. And that is something that you have to look about. Yes, you can blame the Congress, you can blame the BJP. Yes, the BJP has gone back on their promise, but that's because it's second skin to them and second nature. But the fact remains that there's so much infrastructure that has to be changed. And unless there's that proactiveness on the civic side and governmental responsiveness, we won't see anything changing, to be very honest, Heena, and we'll still be racing right down to the bottom where the cattle belt will overtake us at some point.
Just give me 30 seconds, please.
Absolutely. I know Brenda, Adige, Mohan Krishna, as well as Priya wants to respond, but 1 second. You've raised a very important point, Aishwarya. The action probably that has been taken so far in such incidents hasn't really become a deterrent. Maybe that's the reason why such incidents are happening continuously. It is negligence that is claiming lives in the city of Bengaluru. I'll come back to my guests in just a bit. We have two more viewers joining us on the broadcast this evening. Major Samra is joining us from Ludhiana this evening. Good evening. Thank you for joining us here on Urban Debate on Mirror Now. What is it that you will like to say?
Heena, I have only a few things to say. Firstly, let the politicians press the mute button for a while. We keep on holding only the politician responsible. The politician, more than the politician, we must hold the IS officer, the real so-called backbone, responsible. They are the people who are responsible for the mess. And they keep hiding all the time behind the politician. For the politician, all these electricity poles are to hang their posters and banners. Nothing more than that. They don't give a damn what happens. All our cities, all over India, they are now in a complete mess. The electrical poles, the wires hanging. You don't know anybody can just get electrocuted. Our roads have such traffic that there is a complete arrangement to die, but we come back alive. That we are lucky. That is the reason, because our IS officers, I hold them more responsible than anybody else.
Major Samra, appreciate you calling us here on Mirror Now and sharing with us your perspective. We have Srinivasan joining us from Bengaluru as well. Srinivasan, good evening. Thank you for calling us here on Urban Debate. What is it that you will like to say?
Yeah, good evening. See, my point is, it is the urban civic body's responsibility when such things are being handled, because without their permission, nobody can draw a cable line, etc. The other point is the local officers should ensure such things are not done in an unfairly manner or in an irregular manner, so that then when such incidents happen, people start passing the buck and blaming others. End of the day, it is a common man who gets to bear the brunt and loss of life, all those things. When they speak about the roads and other things, it is the taxpayers' money who the urban civic bodies take. Then what is the contribution given back?
Fair point, Srinivasan. Thank you very much for calling us here on Urban Debate on Mirror Now this evening and sharing with us your concern. Brinda Adige wanted to make a point, then Priya, and then Mr. Mohan Krishna. I will like you to respond.
Thank you, Heena. What I want to reiterate again, there is no charity that is being done for the citizens over here. So any kind of talk that is being given, I will not accept it. I'm very proud. I'm a proud Bangalorean. Yes, I agree with Priya. Finest minds are over here. But at the end of the day, the buck stops with the bureaucracy and the politicians, the state agencies and the government officials who have to execute that work. So heads must roll, not just the ones right at the bottom, but from the top. Until and unless we hold them accountable, penalize them, there is not going to be action. Who is going to question them? Nobody. Every time people will come up onto the channels and talk and say, we've done this, be happy with this. Sorry, we are paying you money. You're not doing anything free for us. And we are losing our lives. So this accountability is important. One of your callers also mentioned about public audit. Now that is something that is most required in mother of all democracies. Where is the public audit? Because today we have private-public partnerships and the private earns and profiteers, whereas the public loses lives and suffers. So now it is time for the government to invite citizens and say, come onto this committee and now you do the audit. And we will do that audit because our lives are at stake. Our children's lives are at stake. And that is why accountability must be fixed. Heads must roll. And this must be assured to us by the bureaucracy and the elected representatives that you will be safe from today onwards. There will be inspections that will be conducted because they are being paid to conduct. Nobody is doing charity for us. And we will ensure that there are no loose wires, there are no potholes. And if they are there, then there will be some signs that will be put up. Be careful. And it would be taken care of immediately. And we do not want any kind of lamentations. 130 kilometers, how will I fix the roads? Again, we are saying we are paying the money, and Bescom is charging us a tariff that is very, very high. So Bescom cannot say that we don't have money. Their officers need to buck up, and accountability must be fixed. So heads must roll. Yes, thank you.
Absolutely. Priya Chetty Rajgopal.
Yes, I agree with Brinda and her passionate statement completely. I want to respond with a few things. One is, until the BBMP elections of corporators are announced and a great amount of accountability happens at ward level, nothing is going to change, because I really can't manage what is happening in Whitefield right now. I can manage what is happening in my area. And if I know that the smart city work has been going on for such a long time, and the Bescom work should have been done at the same time, and the MD of both companies is the same, and I've tweeted saying, please make sure this gets done. Sure enough, 3 months later, they're breaking the smart city pavement and they're doing it again. So, conversations and discussions and collaboration among themselves. The second thing is, so this will happen only when there is the corporator election, which happens, the ward committees that genuinely start functioning, and there is a certain sense of ownership at the lowest level of civic structure. The second thing is 20,000 crores spent in the last 5 years for roads is something that will make anybody's jaws drop, because Bangalore seems to be, if you want to have a single industry, the industry is roads. The third thing is this is on the ground. I'm on the ward committee and I can tell you, on the ground in our ward where we had a full-time engineer, a full-time, gangman and all sorts. Today we have one ward engineer shared among 4 wards. Tell me, and this is one of the CBD wards in the heart of Bangalore, tell me what kind of work will be done, whether it is electrical, horticultural, Bescom, BWSSP or smart city. Fourth point, very, very importantly, we are we don't even know as ward committee or as citizens what exactly is going on in the corridor of power. Because I'll give you an example. I saw today a Gazette notification that buildings that have now got built on stilts, that is, they have their own parking and therefore the cars are no longer parked on the road but within their compound, is going to be allowed, and something, there's going to be a provision for one more floor to be built above that. Excellent idea.
Right.
But where is the discussion? This can hamper or benefit a lot of people. This UDD Gazette notification came out on the 28th of March. Where do we know? Isn't it the duty of the government to also tell us, hey, to get it out there? And I know that the notifications that are most important go away into some corner of a newspaper. You try getting onto the government website and trying to get these notifications, all of which, by the way, are very, very important to the city of Bangalore. Whether it is a space that I'm particularly interested in, which is animal welfare or heritage or civic issues, you can't find them. So my question is, there has to be two things immediately done. You have to get better collaboration. You have to get the corporate elections and better ward control, and you need more communication. And then rest of it will have to follow. The issue of things breaking down, we can say there's a 1%, this happens here, it doesn't happen there. It is very unfortunate. It's not just unfortunate. We all live in the land of karma. We know sometimes what's meant to happen happens. But my question is, the tragedy is always when it is preventable. People like us will go forward, and that's where
that's one way of looking at things. But here, we're talking about 3 incidents and 4 people have lost their lives. And of course, these are important issues and the government must answer, because it seems that what the government is doing right now, that is not really acting as a deterrent. And that's the reason why it is continuously happening again and again. Like I mentioned, in just 5 years, 13 deaths have happened in Bengaluru, in the city of Bengaluru, in last 5 years. Mohan Krishna, please respond now. What will you say to the people of Bengaluru? What will you say to the citizens here who are on the broadcast today? Brinda Adige and Priya Chetty Rajgopal, who represent the citizens of Karnataka on the show today.
I appreciate passionate statements made by Brinda Adige. We will consider your suggestions also. Very ably, we will try to adopt it. I don't know how many head will roll. But one thing is for sure, that things are going to improve very drastically. That much I will assure you, Brinda Adige. Coming to Priyaji, whatever you have mentioned is absolutely right. There should be discussions. Everything I agree. And we are not going to sit quiet on any complaints or any issues. We are the one I believe in one thing, mathematics. Mathematics is every problem has got a solution. So we have a solution for everything and we will give you the solution. Please oblige.
So what is your solution?
Please oblige.
I don't want standard answers this time, Mr. Mohan Krishna.
Let me complete.
I do not want standard answers this time. You're talking about solutions. I want to know what solutions do you have in mind? What solutions do you have in mind that you're talking about to ensure this does not happen again?
You're talking in between. How can I complete the thing? Before that, you are asking question. I was coming to that point only. I'm telling you, we are not just assuring. We will see to it. I am also a citizen of Bangalore, a citizen of the country, and I'll assure you, we will talk to the highest people. We will see to it that these issues are sorted out as ASAP, as soon as possible. I've said 6 months. Our Honorable CM also yesterday said that we are going to give the best infrastructure to the Bangalore. We are committed to our work and we will provide. Please believe me, Heena, and let me tell you on record to you, this will not repeat again and again.
Aishwarya, he had said exactly the same thing when we were talking about Shivraj and Chaitanya.
You know, Heena, this is almost deja vu, and it's very wonderful and courteous of sir to ask, Brinda, we will take all your consideration, all your suggestions into consideration. But this is not the time to sit and have a plenary or a round table about it. This is the time to actually have work done on the ground.
We should not talk politics. We should not talk about Congress. We should accept that we are the culprits.
Sir, please, you
direct the police
one second.
FIR and name all the people concerned.
Thank you. The government is in contempt.
Okay, one at a time. One at a time.
No, Heena, the fact remains that the government has been hauled up. The chief minister has hauled up his departments. The High Court has hauled up the government. And at some point, you're hoping that somebody will take action and something will change. Again, 4 days ago,
you don't have any issues to talk. You don't have ideology.
Sir,
you lost your ideology.
Sir, please,
you don't have issues to talk.
I'll keep quiet. You can have
okay,
your
Mr. Mohan Krishna, let her complete the point that she's trying to make.
Don't misguide people of the country.
Nobody's misguiding anybody. If anybody's reading
Mr. Mohan Krishna, let her finish the point that she was making.
Heena, the fact remains, and I have no intention of misguiding anybody on this. Read a newspaper and you'll realize what I'm saying is completely correct. And this is the fact. You may call it fake news, but then again, WhatsApp is not my source of information. The newspapers happen to be, right? So the singular fact is, Heena, this is going to continue until you see stronger accountability, or as Priya and Brinda very specifically put up, sir, please, at some point you will not interrupt your other speakers because
we understand the issues of the people.
Absolute lack of courtesy. Are you done? Can I please complete in 10 seconds? Then you can have all the time you want.
Go ahead. Go ahead,
Aishwarya. The singular fact is, until you see either BBMP elections or some sort of far more proactive response or even far more accountability, this situation is going to remain the same. Or otherwise, as we're all grateful, in the next 6 or close to a year, we're going to see elections, at which point everybody will buck up and you will see the BJP government going into overdrive. But while they're spreading communalism, they hopefully will also pave all our roads and potholes so that voters remember that there were roads when they went to vote. And that is, ironically and sadly, the reality of Bangalore today. And I really hope that it's not when I come back on air next time. And I really hope these persuasive suggestions that the BJP spokesperson has so kindly taken into consideration will be put to work. And this chief minister or somebody will listen to him and actually do their job. Now I'm done, Heena, and sir can say whatever he wants. I will not interrupt him.
Okay. Mr. Mohan Krishna, before I give you the last word, let me also remind you what Karnataka High Court had said recently. Every death caused due to bad road condition makes us feel guilty. Yet Absolutely. We are seeing in this country people dying in the city of Bengaluru specifically because of criminal negligence. I want to give you the last word today. Do not give us empty promises, please.
No, absolutely no.
Tell us something that you can actually deliver.
See, I told you, we are not thick-skinned people. We understand the issues of the people. We would like to sort out the issues. We are with the people and we will work it out with the people, with their suggestions. As Brunda has said, Priyaji has said, we will consider everything. Even Aishwarya also, for that matter. She spoke a very beautiful, she made a beautiful statements. We will consider you also, Aishwarya, for your information. Because of your negligence of Karnataka and corruption, we are today here. People are facing. I'm also a person here. Yes, I will also clap for you. Okay? Listen to things. Don't harp on issues that our CM is committed, our government is committed, our party is committed. We will work for it and we will show to the world that what best infrastructure we can give it to the
Give us a commitment that no other life will be lost in the state of Karnataka anymore because of civic apathy.
Heena,
that's the commitment that people of Karnataka, people of Bengaluru today are asking for, Mr. Mohan Krishna. You've been talking about a lot of commitments, a lot of promises. Unfortunately, on the ground, the situation is different. You heard what the people of Bengaluru had to say. They are feeling scared.
No. See,
what happened with this 22-year-old yesterday evening, it can happen with any one of us.
Absolutely.
What was his fault? He was walking on the footpath.
We are with the people.
And he died.
We are with the people.
So I really hope that now you give us a commitment that Bengaluru will become safer for its people. And we do not want any other commitments. We just want this one commitment that it will become safer.
It is safer. It will be more safer. It will be more safer.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mohan Krishna. And I would like to thank all my guests as well. Thank you for joining us here on Urban Debate on Mirror Now this evening. We'll, of course, be tracking the developments on the story very closely ahead as well.